and welcome to a game. I'm not entirely sure. Darling is handling all of the rules for this game, and we're just going to play it. I have friends with me. Yes, we actually have friends. Friends, would you like to introduce yourselves?
No.
Great! Well,
Hi, I'm Inkaboo. I am Gale's brother.
I'm Red, and I'm dating Inkaboo.
I'm Misty. I was Red's roommate and went to college with her.
you were Gale's roommate?
Sorry! Wow! Brain! Oh my god. My brain literally was like, last person's name said. No. But I'm Misty. I was Gale's roommate in college, and I went to college with her.
And I'm Darling, but you can refer to me as Sir.
So here's how the game's gonna work. First off, Darling's going to give us the name of some sort of cryptid, the location where that cryptid is found, and the approximate time period of which this cryptid was created. We will take this information, and Red, Inkaboo, and I will have 3 minutes to draw whatever cryptid comes to mind. At the end of that 3 minutes, we're going to explain our cryptids, the stories behind them, the reason for our choices, and then we're going to be presented an informational slide on what actually is the basis for this cryptid, its actual features and lore. At the end of that, Misty and Darling will then decide 2 things. 1, who is the most accurate? And 2, who was the most creative? The person who is most accurate gets 2 points, and the person who is most creative gets 1. At the end of the rounds, we'll add up the points, and whoever has the most points is the winner.
All right. Our first topic is the Jersey Devil. Coming from 1735 with the Leeds household, from southern New Jersey. You have 3 minutes on the board to draw me. Oop, there it goes. To draw me the Jersey Devil. And go.
So, Darling, that feels really weird calling you that.
It does, but we're going with it.
So, are you going to go into a little more detail about the Jersey Devil while they're drawing? In terms of the history of it, or...
I can do it while they're drawing, or I can do it afterward. I can go into some of it now. So the main myth of Jersey Devil is that it's thought that Mary Leeds, a housewife in early New Jersey, basically gave birth to the 13th son of a 13th son. Or is it 7th son of a 7th son? One of those is a weird Jeff Bridges movie, and one of those is the Jersey Devil. There's also some stories that say the father was actually some demonic entity, as of course there were. It's early American witchcraft heyday. But the result is that this creature was supposedly born like this. It was not like any type of curse. It was born of 2, or 1 human. And it has been roaming around the southern New Jersey and the Pine Barrens ever since. Any other points of historical nature you'd like to add?
So, obviously, my knowledge is a little... I know some of these, but not a lot. My knowledge of the Jersey Devil is not that great. But, looking around on... Quit doing some looks on different websites. They actually say that if you believe that it was the 13th son... It was believed that Mother Leeds actually cursed the child when she found out she was pregnant with the 13th child, and that is why it was born the way it was.
That's rough, buddy. So I'd like to point out, Inkaboo definitely did what they said they would. Zooming out on the board, FallenGale is really making use of her entire space, right? She's taking up most of the whiteboard. And she's gone into some interesting directions. Red has definitely, gone modest. She's taken up only a little bit. And Inkaboo is going for... Let me zoom in here. I was
about to say, it's really funny when you have it selected to fit the entire fit all content to screen, because in Inkaboo's little corner, there's just this itty bitty little drawing.
It gives me the finest details.
We're at 20 seconds right now. Should I extend time a little bit?
No.
Okay.
Do it.
Uh,
Hold to your convictions.
all right, then we're 10 seconds now. All right, time's up.
Oh, I think I dropped the last. That's okay.
Okay, let's work our way down here. So, FallenGale, let's go in on yours first. All right, so Gale, tell us about this weird-mouthed, horned creature that you have presented before us.
All right. So, my idea when I think Jersey Devil, the first thing that came to me was a cow skull. So I did a cow skull, and then I gave it kind of ramish horns, because I felt like this creature would definitely have horns. But then I also felt like, maybe this creature has a sense of peace, has a sense of a love of nature, and so I gave it like a little Pikmin head thing, and it likes this flower, and it has a weird spiky tail. And I feel like that could definitely come from a cross between human and Satan.
All right, one quick question. The hands, are those claws or are those just standard hands?
Oh, they're definitely clawed.
Okay, Red, you have definitely gone with a more, we'll call it a line art approach.
Yes, that's probably how everything's going to be.
That's fair, that's fair. So tell us about
No
some of the
judgment here, no
features of
judgment
your
here.
Jersey Devil here.
So I can't draw hands or arms, so there's just lines there. But I
Dude, same.
think like goatish feet and
Okay,
like
got some-
hooves.
Cloven hooves, okay.
Yes, and then I gave them wings because I think the Jersey Devil can fly, but one wing is really bad compared to the other. And obviously,
Happens.
it has horns because devil. And I felt like its eyes would glow in the dark, but it's not red eyes, so I gave it amber glowing eyes.
Okay. Interesting. So you definitely gone with much more human shape, just with some added features than Gale to a degree. I appreciate. I don't quite know what its expression tells me, but I feel like this piece just represents the embodiments of a certain. I don't know. If you had to give a word to the emotion this piece is describing, Misty, what would you call it?
Demonic.
I was thinking more just kind of like ennui, but we'll go with that. Okay, now let me find Inkaboo's way down over here.
Oh, it's in the very corner.
Yes.
It's in a big little corner.
Inkaboo, tell us about this hairy little man you've created.
Yeah, so unlike the other two who went with the typical demon style, I imagined a typical, like, more werewolf style human to be birthed. Gotta have that hair for the harsh cold in the New Jersey area, winter time, surviving on his own. Yeah, just
Consider it.
So typical hunchback. He has a nice red blazer on.
I do want to give you props for being the only one to consider your creature's state of modesty.
I'd also like to add that I think that it's fitting that the Jersey Devil hides behind Jersey barriers on construction sites.
Appreciated.
And goes to spook anyone who may be working there.
Okay. All right. So you've given it kind of more like a dog-like face. Definitely some extra hair around it. Tell me, are those supposed to be like human legs or werewolf legs, or is them just legs? It's some legs.
I was going for like the ram's hoof. Like.
Oh, so almost satyr-like, where it has a
Yeah.
really thick
Thigh.
calf, and then like a thinner
Yeah.
thigh.
Yeah.
You just did yours from the side, and I did mine
Just
from the
they're like
front.
pinprick ankles, yes, and then some claws on the one hand. It has.
I didn't get to the second hand time.
This
But
one's one of those one-armed Jersey Devils. they're like the shiny version of the cryptid.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
great.
1 in
Sorry.
8,000 chance that you find a shiny Jersey Devil with one arm roaming around your Jersey barriers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's look at the actual Jersey Devil, shall we? So the first is a drawing from as close time as I could. The second one is a reported picture from the early 2000s of this thing that is supposed to be the Jersey Devil that actually flew into a phone line or electric line. And
Pretty sure that's a taxidermied goat.
I
Oh,
also
yes.
believe it is a taxidermy cow.
Supposedly, this is the most accurate photograph representation of the creature. So looking at this, it's pretty much between Red and Gale. Red, let's see.
Yeah.
There's
I'd like to beg to differ. I had the I mean, Gale did indeed have the cow head with the ram horn,
Yeah.
but I was the only other furry.
so Gale had.
May have not had the wings.
I mean, Red was definitely trying to stay close to the devil in
Yeah.
the name.
So they both got the horns. Red got the tail and the goat-ish head.
You mean I
No,
did?
that Gale
I'll say
had
the
that.
claws.
Ha,
Sorry.
see, it wasn't just me.
Sorry, Gale had. I think I'll give Gale. Was that 3 or 4 points? She had the horns, the tail, the claws, and the goat-like head. But I think for the most consistent, the closest to it, I might actually give it to Gale. Would you agree on that?
I would.
Okay, so Gale is going to get 2 points for the accuracy to the Jersey Devil's tails. Now, let's talk about whose was the most creative.
I mean, to be honest, I have to give it to Inkaboo because he was really just like, I'm going to do
Inkaboo.
what I want.
I have to give it to Inkaboo. He said, you know what? I'm going in my own direction. I'm a maverick, and I think that's very much in the spirit of the Jersey Devil. So, giving the point to Inkaboo. Currently 2-1 right now. Red, you still got to get on the board.
Hell yeah.
Okay, everyone ready for round 2?
Yes.
Let's go.
Round 2 is a bit more descriptive in the name, but we'll talk about that. Round 2 is the BATSQUATCH.
The what?
BATSQUATCH. So, 3 minutes on the clock and go. So, the BATSQUATCH actually first comes out in the 1980s. It was apparently first appearing around Mount St. Helens. There was one report of someone who was, going through, I think it was a Boy Scout. It was a younger person, and stopped by this creature standing in front of them, and then it moved away. It is also been kind of, a lot of things have been attributed to it. It's generally been around western United States between Washington, Oregon, California, but there's one report of it for some reason as far east as Ohio, and that report is literally just something big that kind of resembled this was seen moving by a school, and we're going to say it was BATSQUATCH. So, but yeah, those first reports from the 1980s, it's been seen a couple of times since then. There isn't really any good photographic evidence, but the first reports came with some illustrations in the local newspaper. So I'm definitely going to be looking at one of those. Oh my. I am looking at some of these drawings. And
In case anyone is interested, because I had never heard of this, so I was trying to quickly look it up. There actually is a IPA
which is
named after the BATSQUATCH.
which is also very unfortunate because it means I'm trying to look up artwork or renderings of it, that all that came up was beer.
Yes.
But how hipster is that to take this mostly unheard of myth and turn it and give it a new life with this I'm sure amazing product. Okay, I am loving the different shape. I am loving that all of these look like knockoff superheroes.
Yeah, I was literally sitting here and I'm like, wow, it's like a really weird hero from My Hero Academia.
No, I think this is more from 70s and 60s era Marvel and DC.
Nah, I'll give you
When
that.
there was both Batman and Man-Bat, which if you have not read up on Man-Bat, I highly encourage it. He is one of the most regrettable creations I think DC's ever done, aside from, all the rest of them. Marvel for life.
Did you mean to say regrettable, or was that an accident?
Oh, no, regrettable.
Okay.
Okay, we're down to... I'm not a good timer. 20 seconds. I'm too distracted talking about comic books.
Gail, for some odd reason, watching you, my brain went hammer and sickle, and I'm like, what is she
3,
doing?
2,
Don't
1.
you know the BATSQUATCH is secretly
And
communist?
time is up. Everyone, mice down. Just early on, I want to give some props over to Inkaboo over here because it looks like he's added some special effects or some animation. We'll start off with you, Inkaboo. Go ahead and tell us about your creature.
Yeah, so the typical bat squash. We're kind of friends, hit a bar every once in a while. First thing you think of, bat, Sasquatch, put them together, BATSQUATCH. Kind of taking a riff off of Batman. So it's a Sasquatch with bat wings, with a utility belt, who can turn into a smaller form of himself, designed below, and fly around like a bat. But then,
that's just his child.
When he's ready to kick ass and chew bubble gum, he transforms into the big Sasquatch and leaves those big footprints for people to find in the forest.
Excellent. Okay, so tell me some about the specific features. So you have the bat wings. Tell me about the head.
Yeah.
Why does it look like? Why does he look like he's a Fall Guys character?
Why does he look like you gave
he looks like some weird character from The Incredibles.
Counterpoints: Fall Guys have smaller feet.
Okay, so Sasquatch style skull, humanoid body, arms and feet, hands and feet. Anything you didn't get to put on there in terms of like claws? Got to ask about it now.
No, typical Sasquatch meaty hands. No claws.
Nice and thick, meaty hands.
Maybe some unpedicured nails, but
Got it.
Oh my gosh.
To the point.
And actually, it's a manicure, not a pedicure.
Manicure. Sorry, my bad.
Pedicure for feet. Come on.
So Red, let's go over to yours. This fellow. I don't want to call it hairy because I don't want to assume that's hair.
It's fine. It's hair.
Okay, so tell us about your creature.
We never want to assume.
I pretty much did the same thing. I took a Sasquatch and gave him bat features. So he has terribly drawn bat wings, little fangs, and he has bat ears. They're not horns. They're just ears. And
so yours is kind of like a Sasquatch vampire almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely more physical characteristics of bats. Okay, go on.
Yeah, because I was debating between doing a Sasquatch that has bat features or just a giant hairy bat. So I think this still gets hairy bat.
I was thinking more like Pomeranian puffball with wings.
So a Pokemon.
Oh my god.
But you said super hairy bat.
So tell me a quick question. So brown hair on head, all this stuff, mostly humanoid shaped. Hands and feet, can give you the opportunity. I definitely see what you're saying with drawing the hands, so you don't need to do that again. But any details there you want to share?
No, he's pretty much just a Sasquatch with bat features.
Okay. Now let's move on to Gale's, because Gale took it in a direction.
I love it.
I am getting children's book vibes here.
So
tell us about Stella Luna here.
This, my first thought was a BATSQUATCH sounds like, a mix between a bat and a Sasquatch. But then I thought, a Sasquatch is just like a hairy human, and bats are already furry, so what would a BATSQUATCH be but just an enlarged bat that is human-sized? So I made a bat. He's got some sick ears for that echolocation ability. He's got two little fangs. Got his wings attached to his hands, and got clawed feet so he can grip the ground really well. But this one, my BATSQUATCH, he wants to be at peace with the world. I think all my cryptids, the most
human characteristics you could give him: clothes and a job.
Yes. You did say last time that the modesty of the cryptid was in contention, so I fixed that by giving him a pair of overalls, and then I figured to really cement that my BATSQUATCH is human-sized, I gave him human tools. So yes, this is my BATSQUATCH.
Okay. Now, Misty, I didn't get to ask each one. Misty, what are your general thoughts on these three wonderful things before us?
So I'm waiting for the Stardew Valley update that will feature FallenGales as what you can make your character look like.
It's a Halloween costume.
I have a feeling they will show up, and it's fine.
Stardew Valley or Don't Starve.
Red took the understandable, very easy, very not easy, but the understandable of you hear BATSQUATCH and you're like, well, it's Sasquatch, but a bat. Totally okay. And my God, is Inkaboo really gunning for that creativity point?
But
He knows at least he'll get one point, so he might as well do what he can to get it.
he does have some fierce competition with the creativity, though, because
He does.
because he went for a transforming superhero, while Gale went for a productive member of society. So both of them just raised so many good questions.
Well,
So
I don't
many
know.
delicious little-
Someone let me know when we have the first productive cryptid member of society.
But I'm also under the opinion that, like, Matt Bomer is a mythical creature. So with that,
Look, we all know about the lizard people. You know.
literally just Bat Sasquatch. So, the original sighting was this picture on the right. It was considered a very tall, muscular creature, about 9 feet tall, with claws,
Well, that's
blue-tinted
terrifying.
fur, yellowish eyes, sharp
God.
teeth, and tufted ears.
How did
Large-
none of us go with the buff route?
It's kind of an understandable thing where you would not, your first response would not necessarily be, oh, let's make buff.
But for the most part, everyone got kind of the general vein, which is, it's Sasquatch, but a bat.
I don't know. That picture on the left don't look like no Sasquatch diagram or picture or drawing I've ever seen.
You
The
have
one on the right don't either.
So,
It's
I'll
also
say,
apparently blue.
Look, I'm just I am just marveling at how the right BATSQUATCH happens to have a more out of proportion chest than that one picture of Captain America.
Yeah. Like,
Okay,
look how small his head is in comparison.
Like
It's just like,
his boobs are massive.
okay, so I'll say Red and Inkaboo got the body right. So, humanoid, primate-like body.
yeah.
Everyone got. I'll say Red and Inkaboo got the appropriate wings. If we're gonna split them up like that,
Yeah.
I'll say Gale got the claws
On the
and the
feet.
feet properly.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a question.
sure.
It says Bigfoot's Dark Knight cosplay. I drew the Dark Knight.
I was really tempted to give you a point for that because that was just my joke.
I think that counts.
This just shows that Inkaboo and I are of a like mind, and I'm willing to throw him a bone for that one. Oh, it looks like Inkaboo takes the winner on this one because both Red and FallenGale drew scissors. I'm going to give 2 points to Inkaboo for the accuracy and 1 point to Red for the creativity. Sound fair?
That's
Red?
fair to me.
To Red.
Cool.
Oh, I have a point.
Currently, it is Inkaboo 3, FallenGale 2, and Red 1. Everyone ready for our next creature?
Probably the only point I will ever get.
Everyone ready to draw the Snallygaster? The Snallygaster coming out of specifically Frederick County, Maryland, but kind of the entirety of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
How are you finding these things?
This one's really surprising because this one has a very long history. The Snallygaster was first reported among German communities in Maryland in the early 1700s, I believe specifically 1730s. In 1909, it had a small revival when a newspaper tried to drum up sightings of it, but they were revealed as a hoax. It actually came into very politically relevant during the McCarthyism era. So Whittaker Chambers, who would actually testify before Congress explaining Soviet activities he'd committed against the United States, was describing McCarthyism as McCarthy in particular as a Snallygaster. Either it's this.
You're joking.
No, I wish I was. This was 50s, because I believe the book that he wrote is 53. Anyway, he was describing either McCarthy is this this monster in this case, this creature that could be interpreted to be. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the drawings and I'm distracted because I'm loving what I'm seeing. Either it is this creature, this monster that has great potential for danger, or it is a hoax. It is a show, a sham, which could describe the stages of McCarthyism. That's a discussion for another time. Misty, tell me about what you think you're seeing here. We're
I'm
at
seeing that
140.
Inkaboo and Red share the same brain cell. Whether they mean to or not, they share the same brain cell.
I will say, I did give a bit of a hint in terms of the name when I said that it was from a German community.
Looking at what I'm seeing, I say doubtful.
That means nothing to any of you, I suspect. Is that a party hat?
Let her have her fun,
It's not a party hat. He's a wizard, okay?
I think you may have thought I said SNALLYGASTER. We're down to 1 minute, people. All right, time is up. Cursors and styluses down. Red, let's start with you.
Okay.
So you've drawn a snail.
Yes. And
At this point, you all can look at each other's, by the way.
So the red and his shell glows too, along with the little antennas.
Antenna? Okay.
Yes, thank you. I still gave him an eye because I felt like it looks sad without an eye. But
Now, does it have one-eyed, or does it have two and this is only half the face?
this is only half the face, so he has the other side on the other side. But it actually like leaves behind like an acid. So that's what this is. Its slime is like an acid type thing, so that's why it's like different green.
Okay, foe to be feared if you trip a lot. All right, so Inkaboo, let's move over to yours. Oh, sorry. Let me give a quick Misty. Just first glance. Does this belong in a museum?
As long as they made sure to have some sort of accurate depiction of the acid slime.
Excellent. Okay, maybe a little light display for the kids. Inkaboo,
Okay.
tell us about your creature.
Yeah, so as you probably tell, I like to have a little story with my characters that I draw. So this is Sally the snail. Get
Her
it?
name is Sally.
Snally.
Zoom in. Okay, the little box below just says her name is Sally.
She's also
But-
wearing a name tag, if you
Yeah,
can't tell.
yeah. So
Sally.
this is a spectral snail who haunts the local Waffle House. Sally the snail here likes to possess certain waitresses
Why only certain ones?
and may
Some of them just
start
aren't
to
Sally's.
hit on some poor boys in the local country town who just want to meet a nice lady, but you know it's secretly Sally the snail. You can never find out. But tries to shoot love through
Misty,
people working at the Waffle House.
Misty, can you give me a quick research point for clarification?
Okay.
Is Frederick County, Maryland, actually mostly farm area? That's a small town, or is it a high metropolitan area?
It's had a recent population increase in the last couple of years. It is home to Fort Detrick, and
Okay,
it
if it's home,
encompasses Camp David. So
okay, if it's home to those two, I'm gonna say it's decently populous. Do some more research later, but this is the point to say, Inkaboo, your narrative is invalid.
Hey! This came
You-
around in the early mid 1700s.
Yeah, the Waffle House in the early mid 1700s.
You don't know that? Did you live in the 1700s?
Did you go to the 1700s Waffle Houses?
It's not necessarily the Waffle House. It's just a Waffle House that she now inhabits. The Waffle House that took over from a Waffle House.
You
Is
are
it
correct. I'm a fool, and my point is ceded.
Is it like
Thank
the
you.
ancient burial ground for like Native Americans? You built a Waffle House on an ancient waffle establishment. No,
Yeah.
you are cursed.
Gale,
A snail.
Gale, please tell us about the SNALLYGASTER, the Scaly Caster.
So, I don't know. Probably the gassed part. It made me think of gator, like a snallygator, which sounds like alligator. So I was like, oh, it's clearly like a ghast, which is a ghost, and a gator tied together. So this is a ghost gator. And I wanted, it's a bit more unique than just your average dead gator ghost. the Snallygaster.
You know, your run-of-the-mill dead gator ghost.
Yeah, they have them all the time in Florida, man. You should see it. It's a riot.
This is in Florida.
This is in Maryland. So the ones in Maryland are special in that they can cast magic, and that's where the danger comes from. So each Snallygaster comes with their own PhD in medieval magic casting.
I do love the idea of like, you know, every cryptid has like how to defend yourself from it, and this one is knock off its hat. It will be embarrassed and leave.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Misty, thoughts?
I'm still cackling at the little, like, floating, like, in case you couldn't tell.
I just wanted to make sure
there's a reason he doesn't have legs.
Yeah, I want to make sure that his ghost heritage,
you know, like ghost-like.
Exactly.
Okay.
His ghost heritage was necessary.
I'm still laughing at that. We have one person talking. This is from the 1700s, and they're in Maryland, and they're talking about Waffle House, and then we got another person that's like, yes, alligator.
So let's look at what the Snallygaster actually is, shall we? Everyone ready? So Snallygaster comes from the German...
What is that thing?
This is a modern... I couldn't find a lot of old artwork that I could confirm was old. So this is a modern book on it from like 2008 or so. Top right is actually a mural from 2018 that was done in Frederick County, Maryland. And bottom left, that's the Fallout 76 Snallygaster. So, Snallygaster actually comes from the German schneller Geist, meaning quick ghost. It was described as a large, half reptile, half bird flying creature that would come and swoop in and take livestock or people. So it was something definitely to be feared. It was described, as far as I can tell, as having kind of a long, dragon-like body with wings, a metallic beak with octopus-like tentacles that would come and grab, and then one eye and claws. I think it's very clear who gets the accuracy points.
It's like Cthulhu, if Cthulhu was, like, also a dragon.
Well, it is based in Maryland, where I believe a lot of the Lovecraftian works were based in. So, possible.
I don't know. I'm just now realizing how much Snallygaster sounds like something that Lewis Carroll would have written about in his like poems related to Alice in Wonderland. But that's a completely different thing.
McCarthy and his army of Snallygasters.
You know, I would like to say yes. This is very reptilian, like the alligator. But I believe I am the only one that mentioned, you know, kidnapping people in a sort of way.
You did a snail. I think we definitely give Gale the points for accuracy. Any disagreement there?
Yeah.
Mine's the only one that has hands.
I'm hesitant. I don't know who to give the point to creativity to, because and glowing and acidity and basically antenna and eyes, which snails usually have eye stalks. So that is, I'll say that's definitely some creativity there. Inkaboo went more for a personal narrative.
Yeah, I was about to say the narrative kind of, you know, the possessing, you know, the specific waitress at the Waffle House.
Only some, because not everyone can be Sally. I think yeah, we give Inkaboo the point for the creativity.
Yep, I would have to agree.
All right, so it's currently Gale and Inkaboo tied at 4, and Red, you have 1 point.
I told you, it's the only point I'm gonna get.
You just need to start talking about old fast food chains when you make your character. That's the key to winning.
Well, so let's think about that in the context of our next creature. We are now departing from the United States of America, and now we're going to Germany for the WOLPERTINGER.
Oh my.
So there's a couple of different ones unique to, very similar, but kind of spread between like different parts of Germany and Austria have their specific versions of this, or similar creatures with different names. But the WOLPERTINGER is pretty, as far as I can tell, pretty specific to the forest of Bavaria.
Great.
So it's a pretty thick woodland area. Its origin's actually unknown, so I did find one picture that's similar to this, that's from 1502. A painting, not a picture. That would be weird. It kind of rose to popularity in the 1800s. And I will say it's so this is one where I'm a bit on the line in terms of, is this really a cryptid or is this folklore? because some people refer to this as something like, actually used to be believed, but now it
Do you
seems to
have
be
any
much
German?
more.
If there are any German watchers who know of this, please leave a comment. Let us know.
And du bist so schön. I have like elementary German speaking skills left over from the 5 years that I did German in various schools. That said, it definitely has become much more of a tourist thing, where it's almost become kind of like a story. It's left kind of imagination as like it actually exists, and is much more in terms of it's a local tale that we tell. It's fun and interesting, and there's a very specific tourist application that I can't wait to show all of you.
Is this the thing that they tell the sometimes silly American tourists when they come over? Because this feels like this would be something.
This is definitely something like that. So, fun thing that I actually did a lot of hard to define research in this area. Sometimes there's a distinction between tall tales and folk tales and cryptids, based basically on the creature, the monster's intent. So tall tales are specifically usually categorized as like Northwest America kind of lumber territory, but it's that idea of it's a tale that you tell specifically to either teach someone a lesson or indoctrinate them into a group. It's kind of like those Paul Bunyan style tales, right? It's known that it's not real, but you do it to kind of fit into the community. And then you get into folklore, which is more like it's tied to a narrative, a context, a place. And then you get into cryptid, which is more like, okay, this is thought of more as biological rather than narrative. So it's kind of just like how it's interpreted in that context, which is very, very hard from an outsider to accurately judge. Time is up. Let's start with FallenGale, shall we?
Sure.
Tell us about this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing.
So, WOLPERTINGER.
WOLPERTINGER.
The first thing that I heard was Volper, which is a sword, the Volpal sword thing.
You mean
from
the
Alice in
Vorpal
Wonderland.
sword?
Yeah. And then Tinger made me think of Stinger. So I put a giant blade as a stinger on a creature.
That's big.
And then I WOL sounds like wolf, but I was like, nah, that's too generic for this WOLPERTINGER. So he's actually got the main head is a bear head, and then he's got a second, and then he's got a second wolf head, and then the body of a bear, and then 2 wings that like help him fly. So yeah, he's like he's a bear wolf hybrid with a scaly sword stinger.
Flying mermaid scorpion bear wolf.
Yeah, and he'll fly into villages, and people see like cut marks on freaking trees and stuff, and sometimes they see like a bear nearby, but other people will claim to see a wolf, and they're like, it's the
claim
wolf
to see a flying mermaid with a sword for a tail.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly say, Misty, I think I want to hear you agree with this. This looks like the logo of like a kid's soccer team in some apocalyptic fantasy novel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If Night Vale had other team names, I think this would definitely be one
Night
of them.
Vale, just Night Vale. That's all you had to say.
But yeah, so this is my WOLPERTINGER tongue.
Just call it the thing.
The thing.
All right, excellent. Let's go to Inkaboo.
Yeah, so
Are those abs?
absolutely this thing is shredded.
And swole legs, dear lord, man.
Yeah, so basically I kind of went on the classic like werewolf, but I was like, nah, I can't just be a werewolf, right? Because Wolper sounds like wolf, right? So I'm like, let's make it aquatic. So I gave it like frog hands, the little netting between the hands and the little sticky pads, as well as it being like incredibly shredded and buff swimming through the water.
Because you didn't get those points with BATSQUATCH, so you needed them now.
I wanted to make sure if it was shredded, I included the muscles.
Okay, all right, then let's go over to Reds. Okay, Red. So you did a lovely forest scene. Tell us about your Wolpertinger.
So I also kind of went the route that it's more werewolfy. For some odd reason, though, he has a really weirdly shaped head.
Just for some reason.
Don't worry.
But obviously, sharp claws. So I pointed the fingers and claws on its feet. I like to think that its tail is actually a bit more pointed, so it can hurt you with its tail.
Okay.
And of course, it also has glowing eyes, and it's the protector of the forest. So it doesn't just go out to hurt people.
It only if you intrude upon its territory with harm in your heart.
Yes.
Trespassing on the Wolpertinger's property is verboten.
Yes.
Don't offend the German viewers.
I like to also think that you could bring an offering, not necessarily fruits, but you could bring some sort of food offering to help it on. Yes, a bad child.
You do not eat children, okay? Cannibalism is frowned upon in most societies.
This is the land of Hansel and Gretel. We respect our traditions. That actually might be offensive. That was entirely a joke, and I apologize for any German or Germanic-speaking peoples. Let's talk about this, Misty, because here's my problem. 2 of these actually got the gist of it.
When I looked it up, unfortunately, yeah, and yeah.
The Wolpertinger is you all can look at the slide. It's kind of a chimera. It's basically just an encompassing term for wildly intermixed small woodland creatures. And this is the painting from 1502, which I don't believe is actually called the Wolpertinger. It's Oster something, which just means rabbit. But does it? No, that's wrong. Anyway, what it's become since then is it's become a tourist trap to basically make this taxidermied mishmash and then call it a local tradition of Wolpertinger and try to sell it to tourists and especially in skiing and hiking areas. So here's my problem. 2 creatures here have that.
Yeah.
They both definitely got wrong on the size. I think Gale has elements of more animals included, especially with that second. Actually, I think the number of heads with Gale's kind of throws me away from it for a bit. I think I prefer Incaboose a bit more.
If it's truly ever just a true mishmash, you can't really throw it away based on number of heads because if you shut it, someone somewhere when they quote, let's say find air quotes around find a Wolpertinger, there has probably been one that has had 2 heads.
I think Gale has accurate because she had elements of land, air, and sea travel, which is definitely kind of relevant in all of these. She had fangs. She had.
Wait. How does she have sea travel?
It's a fishtail.
It's a mermaid tail.
Is it a fishtail?
Yes.
I drew scales, bro.
Fine.
Stop trying to sister.
I think I'm going to give Inkabu the points for the creativity here because I also
no. I kindly disagree.
Okay.
I say give it to Red because I appreciated that she went for a environmentally conscious whatever cryptid where they want to protect the forest, man.
And I do think
protect their forests.
I do think it definitely fits in with that kind of story structure we were talking about, where the creature has a specific role in the tale. In this case, it is to protect the woods. So I'll give that. Okay, so that brings so it's 2 points for accuracy for Gale, 1 point for creativity for Red. That brings us to Gale has 6 points, Inkabu still has 4, and Red has 2. Still anybody's game. So let's go to Brosnia. So this is Western Russia near Andriopol. I think it was 250, I don't remember if it was miles or kilometers north of Moscow because I'm a stupid American. I'm equal parts delighted and terrified by just your general creation here. So tell me about this.
Well, what I can
Did you
say
think you were
is
just flipping ghost nipples too until you zoomed in?
the people of Russia cannot be contained in such a small box, so I had to exceed the box to represent their people, and this is basically a centaur with the bottom half of a bear. The top half of a bro who's just trying to get lit.
No, just period. Bottom half bear, top half bro. It's been that way since the 12th century.
Chugging some vodka under a disco ball in the middle of nowhere.
When Inkabu's like, I have no idea. I'm just gonna draw what I want.
I love it. Why the red nipples though? Why the circles are on the nipples? I thought it was smiling at me, and then I realized those were its nipples.
You know, I felt like that area was a little under designed, so I
So let's make it fire engine red.
Hey, it's cold out there, you know.
I can zoom in on this just to show the audience. Misty, initial thoughts.
At first I couldn't see the bro until I zoomed in more because I just saw what looked to be a bear without a head. I'm like, that's a little different, but okay. It wasn't until I zoomed in more that I actually see what what we were truly experiencing with Inkabu's drawing here.
I love it when I zoomed in, I didn't even get to look at the bear. All I could focus on was like chest up. Like his eyes are up here, but his nipples are down there, and I'm gonna keep staring.
That's where he gets you. Like
that's what Cryptid draws you in with.
To the bear beneath.
This was the death of Narcissus. He just couldn't look away from that glorious shining chest.
God. Stop. Stop.
And then we go to Fire Bear. Is this correct?
Yes. They didn't have dragons. They have fire-breathing bears.
What?
So if
you're in for a surprise.
No dragons.
Sorry.
No. So I just did a giant bear that could breathe fire and had red eyes.
I do like it. It does, despite its odd proportions of legs and body and all that. I do think it looks kind of cuddly, but that's also wrong because I either want to cuddle or punch bears whenever I see them. So, not the first one. That one, Inkaboos, I don't punch. I just fist bump.
You party with that one in the shed in the middle of nowhere.
In a shed in the middle of nowhere. Oh my god!
They always have your favorite song. Okay, I do like this though. I do like the very traditional bear, just enhanced, like a bear but better.
Almost sounded like it could be the tagline for a condom.
New Brosnia condoms, better than bear.
Well, because I thought you were going to say bear but better.
Gale, why?
I don't even want to talk about this one. I would like to be able to just mentally delete ever seeing it.
Fighting Pokemon from my gym.
Because
why do the feet look like monkey feet?
Really unsettles me in a way that I cannot put into words.
So this is very, very clearly inspired by the Baba Yaga. Is that correct?
Kind of, yeah. I was thinking Brosnia, like it sounds like a babushka.
Or like Brosnia, apparently.
Yeah. And so I was like thinking, kind of like Beauty and the Beast. Okay, so she comes up to you. She's hooded. You can't see the top. You can't see her face. All you see is the hook.
But you can see her hook nose.
No, yeah, you just see the hook nose coming out of the hood.
You just see the bulge of her triceps. You hear the bump of her thighs.
It's just totally cloaked, and it walks around, and you see her on the edge of villages. You don't. You never comes into civilization, but you find her on the edge of civilization. And then in times of strife, if you have respected the Brosnia, then she will come to fight with you in her true magnificent form, which she busts out the cloak and reveals her muscled cryptid goodness.
I wanted to say that we were as we continued going, we were slowly devolving, and the problem is that we are no longer slowly devolving. We're rapidly devolving.
Okay, so let me tell you about Brosnia. Now, there's a key element here.
I have to ask, Are those hands for its feet?
It was supposed to be normal people feet, but then it turned into hands for feet, so now it's
Yes,
hands
why
for
does it have
feet.
primate feet.
Yes, it has primate feet. And she's got strong. Like she's almost a primate in nature, except also like a spiritual being. You know.
Okay, Misty.
This is a wise creature.
You can't say that I was being insulting to Germany when this is what we did for Russia.
No, I really can't. I really can't. I'm sorry, Russia. I'm sorry, Russians.
But Brosnia, so there's a part that I couldn't tell you guys because it would immediately give away one of the key elements. It's known as the Lake Brosno dragon.
Or just Brosno dragon.
Yeah, but I liked Brosnia. But this is a Lake Brosno is near Andreopol. The qualities you're looking for: large mouth enough to swallow fighter planes, whole islands, or ships.
Or
a dragon, horses.
As Darling had said, horses.
Yes, a lot of them say bioluminescence or the shininess that is brought up in a long dragon-like body. So no one really gets any points for accuracy, I think.
Wait, are you kidding me?
I'm tempted to give
Red.
I
Go
would
ahead.
large body. If we off of it's large,
I
Red
think
does have
that
large.
I think that is a good point.
And let's be honest, with how big it is, large mouth, she kind of gets the large mouth.
I was thinking of giving a point to FallenGale because that whole in your time of need will serve as your ally in battle.
No, I want nothing to do with that drawing. That drawing has mentally scarred me. I never want to see it again. I'm going to have nightmares about that.
And I am going to give 2 points to Red for accuracy because there is suspicion that it's just a large pike or sturgeon, and this is just another large creature. So
She
I think
did also mention dragons in her.
did, but she said it wasn't a dragon.
Hey,
They didn't have dragons.
Fire
They
mouth,
had
fire.
She said it was their type of dragon.
Sure.
Guys.
Red has 2 points for accuracy. I think I want to give Inkaboo a point for creativity for making the bro of Lake Brosno.
Oh my god.
Look,
Russia, I'm sorry.
Look, I get that you all are just too scared of my
No,
buff.
Gale-
Yes,
babushka.
Garrett is a very, very accurate statement.
Gale wins a separate prize, and that is a commission for me to draw this as a Pokemon for my team. But Inkaboo's going to get the point there. So right now, FallenGale has 6 points, Inkaboo has 5, and Red has 4. Still, anybody's game. Now, let's leave Russia and Europe altogether, and let's go over to South America, Latin America, to the Mapinguari. So this is an interesting one. It's a rainforest creature, the Amazon rainforest in Brazil. And the stories of it go back hundreds of years, but the first, I'll say, quote, sighting, basically when, an American or a European went and wrote down stories of it was in the 1930s.
Yeah, I do wish, it was not just the only reference. I wish we had more references than just,
Yeah. Well, and that's where this one's interesting as well, because the references to it change over time. So one of the things that I point out on the slide is that it kind of starts off being much more almost fantastical, and as reporting of it has gotten more modern, the fantasy elements have dropped away. So I like that once again, Inkaboo's gone for some animation, some effects, it looks like, trying to show a clear process. Red has definitely gone with, I'll say Red has kind of defined her signature style of it's this but this, which is definitely a very viable strategy for this game. And then Gale has gone with typical Gale artwork, which 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Misty, first thoughts. Looking at these, give me some vibes. Give me a vibe check on this.
Wow. So we have.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
All
wow. Right. Okay, that's probably the only thing I have. Is just wow.
Who do you want to start with? Who wants to start? Gale, we're starting with you.
So my Mapinguari, I was thinking something akin to a Quetzalcoatl.
That's honestly about what I was about to say.
And so I did a giant snake that has a pair of wings attached to its head. It's got some spikes attached to its head as well. It's got some patterning. It's got some snake pattern, and then like scales on the front on its belly. And also it comes with like a giant orb that it carries. It like within its body, like its body will curl around it and travel.
I was about to say
orb.
air quotes around carry.
Yeah, and travel with the orb. And scientists have been trying to figure out what this orb does for centuries. But nobody quite knows why it must keep the orb on it. But it always has the orb.
Must protect orb. Okay. Definitely choices made. Definitely a strong option. Inkaboo, you want to tell us about what I think I get what you're going for, but it looks like you just tried to draw like the cover of a box of cookies that specifically has like small mammalian shaped creatures.
Yeah, so I kind of took this in the more creative direction, and I was like, well, what if we have this small ferret-like creature who likes to roll themselves up in the leaves of certain trees that make it, when they sleep, so that it makes it look like a map is just rolled up in the tree as they sleep there.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, so what is it? What is that behind it? Like, what is it on?
Can someone confirm for me? Are ferrets found in Brazil?
Ferret-like.
Okay, that.
So like a squirrel.
Just like a long,
A long, thin, small mammal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a tree with like the rolled up leaf hanging off of it, and then I said unrolled. This is what's on the inside.
Okay. Can't find if there if there's a similar creature in Brazil. I think I can.
Why it's a cryptid?
So is that rolling up on itself, or is that like parchment, or is that like
it's a leaf of the tree?
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's just a rolled up. Okay, I like that. It has its strategy as well. And let's end over on Red. Tell us, Red, what you have wrought.
So if you've ever seen The Secret Saturdays, they have an episode where there's this monkey creature who steals people's faces. That's what I went with.
Okay, proceed.
It's the first thing that popped in my head, so I went with, yes, evil monkey creature who steals your face.
The funny thing is, if I remember correctly, The Secret Saturdays actually is about cryptids.
It is. They have a bunch of cryptids.
Okay. Well, how big is this monkey creature for scale?
It's about average human size.
Okay,
it's just in a tree at the moment.
Average monkey or average human size?
Oh, human. Average human size.
Because that is its face next to a human face, so I guess you're right.
Be careful. It might rip your face off.
Misty, I think we have a clear winner.
We do?
Did you look up the map in Guari?
Yeah.
I think one is definitely closer to the mark than the rest.
Okay.
I think we're going to give Red 2 points for accuracy.
Oh!
So let's talk about this. So, the map in Guari, older stories that I can find almost reference it specifically as a single entity that was basically cursed with immortality, which, great curse. Love that it's so present because it is actually kind of terrifying. The map in Guari, early stories have it as much more humanoid creature. A cyclops with big ears, very ape or human-like, with big long claws and a mouth on its stomach. Backwards feet as well. Later stories, that tends to become more kind of like a ground sloth, like a bear. So they think they were giant ground sloths, which are also huge and awesome. But here's my thing. One person got primate that's large and threatening. So I really want to get 2 points.
This is where I didn't see it because I the stuff I was looking at really didn't see the word primate, so that's where I was like,
Well, so I'm going like humanoid. I'm going for earlier. So looking at either earlier or later. I mean, either way, it's both 4 limbs and furry. So Gale's kind of just out of the running altogether. And then comparing reds and incuboos, I think red definitely has an element that it's large and it's threatening.
honestly, Inkaboo could have gotten it if he just made it big.
But you said it fits on the back of a leaf, which is adorable, but not accurate. So I guess we're giving
Unless it tries to eat your eats your face off, and then it is not adorable and it is terrifying.
So once again, we're giving this to accuracy for red.
Yep.
Creativity, though. I will say,
I mean, I struggle here because drawing wise, Gale has got me. But then the idea of a tiny little ferret-like creature that can roll up into a leaf, I kind of adore.
I'm going to vote Inkaboo for a specific reason. And that reason is that with that point, everyone's tied up at 6 points. So this last round seals it.
Going into the final round.
Final round.
And for our final round, we're heading... at least in terms of us, we are heading east to the world of Japan, where we're talking about the Tsuchinoko. So this is part of the class of monsters called yokai. Close translation is kind of like a demon, but it's just kind of a general term for all of these slightly mystical fantasy creatures that usually have some specific narrative told with them in terms of like a lot of the more modern ones, it stays in this location, does this thing. So this is actually along with some older interpretations of yokai, but it became really popular for some reason during the 1970s when it was just like everyone was claiming they had photos of them, everyone was claiming to see them all across Japan. And with that, since then there's been a couple different specific almost breeds across Japan. The Tsuchinoko, as far as I can tell, is specific to the mountains.
Like me and probably a lot of other people. For a lot of people, anime was most likely their first reference or their first, like learning of various Japanese culture and history and stuff. So yokai anime does not tell you correctly, and that anime generally says that yokai means demon, and I don't believe it actually does.
Yeah, so correctly, it's more that was kind of an early just translation thing, because when they said like small terrifying creatures, they said like demons and imps. That was also because a lot of the early Western interaction was done by religious folk who were trying to point out everything as demonic. But that's another story that I want to do more research for before I get into it. Also, movie Silence is interesting, talks a little bit about the topic. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's go over to Harvey Dent here on the left.
Yeah. So I really struggled with this one, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I kind of just created a humanoid person who has 2 faces on either side of their head. And so, like, depending on their mood, the head swaps on who's talking. And I was thinking about this earlier, like maybe like the hair like covers one side, and then when the other one reanimates, they like move the hair back to the other side.
So it's halfway between the mayor from Halloween Town and Voldemort.
Yeah.
Or Janice. The Roman
Harry Potter year
Giannis?
1.
Anyway, I do appreciate this. So you kind of said like one's happy, one's sad, one's calm, one's aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Just dual personality traits.
Yeah.
And is it supposed to be like a spinning motion between them, or is this just the hair?
No, it's a flipping motion. So like their bodies are symmetrical, front and back.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Red, yours is cool, but I need to skip it to scold Gale. Because Gale
probably knows the most about Japan out of any of us.
That is Japanese for ramen.
Well, I don't know.
That's just the hiragana for ramen.
Yes. Now, let me tell you a story, okay?
I'd rather you not. If it involves, just go ahead.
This Tsuchinoko is a tiny creature that inhabits.
So she knows what it is.
No, I don't. I'm making a story up, but I'm glad you think I sound confident enough that I know this. No, the Tsuchinoko is a tiny creature that inhabits the common products of the time to get closer and curse whatever human they are going to. In this case, this typical Tsuchinoko has embraced a local ramen cup, instant ramen. Very popular with the population, and so it is lying in wait.
Poor college students in America.
Yes, so it is lying in wait, ready to.
You do ramen a disservice. You do instant ramen a disservice with moving along.
But it is.
How can I do instant ramen a disservice? I still eat it, and I'm out of college.
Yes, but insulting yourself at the same time to insult something else is still insulting something else. Yes, I had instant ramen for lunch 2 days ago. Yes, I had instant ramen for lunch 4 days ago. Doesn't mean I don't think it's a great, wonderful thing.
Oh,
Going back to Gale.
Is it healthy? No. Does it taste delicious? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's basically the gist of it. It inhabits some small items, and then when you're alone and you think you're going to dive into some delicious ramen, it jumps out and spooks you, and then it runs away into another item. And that is the curse.
I have one logistical problem with this one.
Is the ramen still good after it jumps out?
What happens when you microwave it?
That is a very good question, Inkaboo.
Well,
better question. You microwave instant ramen.
You're not supposed to microwave the foam.
You're not supposed to microwave in that kind of cup. You're not supposed to microwave it.
Yeah, you pour in hot water.
It's in
water, and then you put it in there. But yeah, so you're pouring hot water on this thing.
Yes.
Is it harmed? Is it okay? I mean, it's got a cute little face. I don't want it to get hurt.
I feel like it lives on a spiritual realm above the material plane, so like it doesn't get harmed by your silly mortal water. It exists on another level, man.
Okay. Now,
aren't you guys supposed to technically live in a different dimension than humans, or is that just another thing that anime told me that's incorrect?
Got no idea.
Red.
Yes.
What is this?
So
does it have pizza on its face?
No, it's a mask.
Oh, okay.
It's a poorly done mask, but it's a mask. So it's a like monkey human demon spirit like hybrid thing. So it has horns and it has like a wavy tail because I thought that was fun to do. But it's like a normal size human who and obviously since it sits in the mountains, he has a walking stick staff that can help you. But the only thing you can see from its mask is its eyes, which I have made red here. So it's a painted smile.
Okay. So I do like the nod to East Asian theater that uses masks to portray characters. There's a couple different traditions of it. So I appreciate that. I do like that you did both a hand and claws, so that you didn't just do pointed fingers, because this shows that your artwork is progressing. And I'm proud of you, Red.
We are not art critics here.
You've learned so much in the 7 cryptids you've drawn.
So let's talk about what a Tsuchinoko is, and why Inkaboo and Gale are about to be mad at me. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Or why I thought Gale knew what she was talking about.
It's a Dunsparce.
Why I thought Gale knew what she was talking about.
So, Tsuchinoko means hammer child because it's described as basically like a hammer without a head. It's usually 12 to 31 inches long. It's distinguished by its earthy tone scales, but it's wide midsection. So its body is wider than its head or its tail. Its tail is usually like that kind of like short, stubby thing over there, and its head's usually just normal snake-style head. Although some people will say it has very, very large
literally
eyes.
Dunsparce.
And it can. I've seen some places that said it can jump 3 to 6 feet.
That's
or
terrifying.
some places say that it basically puts the end of its tail in its mouth and rolls like a ring.
That's kind of cute.
Now, Misty, I don't think anyone gets a point for accuracy.
Ramen is fairly snake-like.
But you didn't say it was the ramen. You said it was just the item.
I said it possesses the item.
It is not the noodles. It is the noodles.
Dude, can you imagine? Oh, lordy.
Here's my thought. It's the last one, and everyone's tied up. So I'm thinking we just do this based on creativity.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And honestly, it's kind of anyone's game. They're all pretty cool.
They are.
I say everyone wins.
No,
and by that, I
that's
mean we
cool.
all lost.
Pick a winner.
Pick a winner. Misty, is we can have the players vote.
The players?
Like
Inkaboo, Red, and Gale. They
Okay,
vote for
darling,
one that's
but why
not
would
their
they
own.
not just vote for themselves?
Because they vote for one that's not their own.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh my god, I knew it. I knew that's why Inkaboo was waiting.
You know what?
There and just wasn't watching.
You know what? It's going to be funnier if Inkaboo doesn't win, so I say Red wins.
Okay. My problem is I don't think I can vote because I have an unhealthy obsession with ramen. Okay.
Have the beer
We
as
just
your favorite.
Gale wins because it's her channel, and she can choose not to upload this if she doesn't win.
Can't do that. The viewers are
Narcissistic win!
I mean, wrong. Gale wins! Yay! Yay!
Otherwise,
Alright.
we have to do new cryptids.
Gale? Oh, you don't even know. This is the surface. Like, this is the tip of the iceberg. And I did not find an iceberg cryptid, and I'm still mad about it. But I didn't look too much into Inuit or Aleutian ones, so I will check those out later. Gale, go ahead and give us the outro.
You're
Thank you guys so much for watching. A round of applause to all my friends who decided to help out with this video and play with me and Darling today. And hope you're enjoying the month of mayhem. I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye! Everybody wave bye-bye to everybody. Hi there, it's the end of the video, my friend. Hit the bell if it was okay. I'm sure I'll make good content someday. I'll play some games or do some drawing, Pokemon and fights with Darling, video essays and reviews. I couldn't do it without you, so thanks, like and subscribe.